Lautaro Martinez is for sale. Inter Milan will sell the striker for the right price this summer if an agreement can be made. Spent the majority of the afternoon reaching out to as many journalists and football people as I could to try and ascertain their take on the situation. It is progressing between Tottenham and Inter Milan. Talks have moved forward. A bid was agreed, a price, was agreed earlier on in the summer. It does now appear that Inter Milan want more money. Arsenal have, of course, delved into the idea of signing him, making a couple of informal offers thus far of cash plus players. There is a notion from many that Inter Milan will not sell both of these players this window. And I understand that entirely. The line has been, if we could have kept Lukaku, we'd have had to have sold Lautaro Martinez first. If they had the agreement already in place in Tottenham before Chelsea came in for Lukaku, and they really wanted to keep Lukaku the way they said they did, you just progress with the Martinez to Spurs deal. Everybody knows that Martinez wants to join the Premier League. That's been stated on a number of occasions now. So why not trigger the agreement with Spurs, sell Martinez, and keep Lukaku, if that's what you really wanted? This news is confusing a lot of people, but that's because we're being lied to, in my opinion, by Inter Milan. We're also going to be talking Harry Kane on this show, and a big bid is expected in the next 7 days for the England and Tottenham striker. Messi draws ever closer to his move to Paris Saint-Germain after what was a very tearful and emotional day for one of the greatest football players of all time. Do me a big favor and smash that like button. Share this stream across your social media platforms. We're taking your calls. I want to hear your opinions on all these transfer stories and more. You know what comes next, people? Here we go. Welcome back, one and all. Listen, I had to do the opening the way that I did because I'm actually loving this transfer. This is one of my favorite transfers ever, and we're not even halfway through it, I believe. Still a lot of people seeing it in the comments here. Absolutely fair point. Says Martinez agents confirmed he's staying. Research is very key. I believe he shares the same agent as Hakimi. They said exactly the same things about Hakimi earlier on in the summer. Of course, he's committed. And of course, he's happy to stay at Inter Milan because he might be staying at Inter Milan. But I spoke to a number of journalists this afternoon, one of which will be coming on the Football Terrace at some point next week. Big reporter for two of the biggest publications, one of the biggest sports shows in Italy, will be coming onto the Football Terrace to have his say. The deal is on. The deal is progressing. The deal can happen. He is for sale, not publicly. He isn't for sale publicly. They're not going to openly admit this. They still need to raise the funds. It's as simple and as straightforward as that. If an acceptable offer is made of the right amount of money, cash, they don't want any players on top. That's because they're trying to get their salary cap down as best they can, unless there's a swap deal available with a player they really want and they can bring in cheaply. It's hard to do that from Premier League teams because the wages that Premier League players earn, generally speaking, compared to the rest of Europe, is a little bit higher. But Martinez is on. Question I want to ask you all is this. Where do you think he's going to end up? We've got a poll running right now, which currently 43% of you think that he's going to go to Tottenham. 30% he'll remain at Inter. 19% think he's going to go to Arsenal Football Club. And just 8% think he's going to go to another club, leave Inter, but not go to Tottenham or Arsenal at this point. I do want your thoughts and I want your feelings on this today, but the deal is on. And as I said earlier, the more I think about this, they had an agreement in place to sell Martinez before the Lukaku deal. Inter claimed that if they sold or sell Martinez, they could keep or could have kept Lukaku. Then why not push the agreed deal with Tottenham through and keep Lukaku? Unless I'm missing something. I know I said it earlier, but it's a mad one to me. It's an absolute madness one to me. Now, somebody says here, because Lukaku asked into the sale for the sale to happen and Martinez is not forcing it. If Martinez forces it, the transfer happens. Otherwise, he's salty. Bish, do you know what? There's an element of truth in that, but it brings up another red flag. But Lukaku is happy to stay at Inter Milan. So if he was forcing it, then we shouldn't be listening to what his words were. What we know about Martin is that he wants to move to the Premier League. His agent doesn't go and talk to Premier League clubs and they're not pushing for it. That is fighting to move. He's just not going about it in the the vein of, say, Harry Kane. But Inter making decisions for Inter wouldn't have cared about that. Not in my opinion. Because the player stated that he's happy. He was happy. It wasn't even a lie. He loved it in Milan. But if they were really, the reason I say they've done that is because they still need to raise more money. I can't look beyond that. It's a good point there, Bish. Bishad, thank you very, very much. I totally get where you're coming from. That could be the reason. Just hasn't, like when you're thirsty and that nice cold glass of water that quenches your thirst. I just need an answer that's going to make me go, really, really does make sense. My brother Slens says, surely, I can't pronounce the name, but I know who he is, from Fiorentina, will be a second choice if the Martinez bids amount to nothing. Tottenham are definitely looking at him. No doubt about it. Arsenal have increased and started moving again towards Tammy Abraham. I don't think they ever stopped. I don't think they ever stopped trying to get Tammy Abraham, to be fair. Inter have lost Conte, Hakimi, Lukaku, and Eriksen, and now Martinez. They haven't lost. I mean, the Eriksen situation is something very different. They haven't lost these people. They've got rid of these people because they're in a financial Armageddon. They are in their financial situation is end of the road type stuff in terms of competing at the highest. It's absolutely terrible. They're in absolute bits. There's no doubt about it at all. No doubt about it at all. None whatsoever. Sorry, real interesting message there. Let's go some more of your comments here. Gonna sell Barella as well, I would guess, to Liverpool. They very much could. They very much could. And this is why I'm not buying into it either. I respect everybody's opinions, as in you're entitled to them and everything. But I just think that they could sell at least 1, 2, 3 more players. It wouldn't show. Again, if it was announced tomorrow they were doing that, I wouldn't go, oh, that's a turn up for the books. I wasn't expecting that to happen. I very much am. Let's do some more of your comments coming through. If you're talking to each other, I won't put them up because I do that sometimes and they don't make any sense. Don't make any sense when I do that. Terry, unblock me from Twitter. Or maybe I will. If you must. The only time I block people is if they're being nasty to me. I normally mute people. Muting's my favorite thing because then they don't know that you've done it. It's brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. Right, we're going to go to some calls. Before we do the calls, though, I want to give you some updates on some other news that is circulating right now, but I need my pen. I found my pen. Happy days. Harry Kane. There is an expected bid that is reportedly going to be made at some point in the next week to Tottenham Hotspur. And it's going to be in the region of £120 million with £20 million of bonuses stroke add-ons attached to it. So a combined total of £140 million. Now, what the reports are saying is that it's going to all hinge upon Harry Kane's ability to convince Daniel Levy to allow him to leave. What I've been told, coupled with what I've read, is that Daniel Levy is very frustrated with the way Harry Kane and his camp have gone about this transfer. Harry Kane hasn't got yet what he wanted. There is a great relationship between the pairs up until this point. So I think Harry Kane is going to try and go the tactful way and try and get it convinced. I believe 140 million pounds would be enough to get this deal done. It would give a hell of a lot of money to Nuno to start reinvesting in this squad. And one of the big telltale factors for me, again, just the way briefings done via the media. The fact that every journalist in their tweets about the Martinez deal today or their articles, it felt like within the first line or two, they had to push that point of is to play with, not replace Harry Kane. I'm like, yo, I'm just learning here about the Martinez thing. Why are you mentioning Kane so early? A bit like when Arsenal loaned out Saliba. The red flag was the fact that they all kept on saying with no obligation to buy. Why are you telling us that? Because you're pushing this narrative that we want to make sure people don't think we've given up on him. Although it's his third loan in 3 years and he's not kicked a ball for you. You're giving his shirt number away. We know you've lost faith in him, but you're putting that little nugget out there just to keep it alive. And I believe that's what they're doing here with the Harry Kane situation. 140 mil. If that comes in, do you think Manchester City are going to accept it? Will that deal get done? I want to hear from you on that one today, please, ladies and gentlemen. And of course, Messi has agreed to join PSG. The formal offer is now in front of him and his father. The player's already agreed verbally. That's where he's going to go. I think it's obviously with a very, very heavy heart. We all saw the pain in his eyes and the anguish and the sadness of essentially having to leave, and leave his boyhood club, a city and a country that he has lived in since he was a child. I remember a few years back, like I believe he probably has more of a connection to Barcelona in Spain than he does Argentina in some ways. All these memories of his life will be, generally speaking, are going to be at Barca, like in terms of the city, the culture, the people. So it's a very emotional day for him, but he has accepted that offer. It is 99.9% over the line now that he will be a Paris Saint-Germain player. We've got Fixer, Amin, Pav, Samuel, all backstage with many others. We want to get you on now. Terry, can we have some Liverpool news? There really isn't much going on at the moment. We updated on Sal Niguez a few days ago in terms of what's happening there, the roundup with everything that's going on. Nothing has really changed. That's it. There is no real update barring that. A few people asking about Rafael Varane. Rafael Varane is due to undergo his medical and be signed and everything completed by Wednesday. Is what I believe. I read that somewhere earlier on today. And again, what I always do when I read things is I reach out to the plethora of journalists and sort of in the knows that we now have on the football terrace to get confirmation of things, and they pretty much all echo that they've heard the same thing. So that looks like it's going to be completing very, very soon indeed. Let's do some more of your comments, and we're going to go to these calls here. Messi only going League R to StatPad and to get paid. Of course, he has PSG, the only club in the world that can afford Messi's salary right now. 20 million plus a player. I mean, it could be that. I mean, I just can't see Raheem Sterling agreeing to go Tottenham. What about Bernardo Silva? Could they pull that off? I still think that Spurs squad has that hole left by Christian Eriksen. Maybe Bernardo Silva. I know a lot of Arsenal fans have been talking about him. It's a real interesting one. Would Bernardo Silva prefer to go to a club with Champions League football? Yes. Are there any clubs that have got Champions League football that can afford him? I don't know. I don't know right now because the continent's in an absolute mess. So maybe that is a potential option there. We're going to start going to your calls now. Fixer to come, Pav to come, Amin to come. Young Samuel's up first. What we're talking about, it's the big fight here. Very, very big fight indeed. There is an update actually according to Damasio. I want to read out as well here. And I just can't pronounce the name right now. It's not working in my head. But according to Damasio, Florentina want to tie down Dusan I can't pronounce the name right now, to a new contract. But first, they will have to resist offers from top tier clubs. Arsenal and Atletico Madrid are reportedly interested in him. We know Arsenal are looking at all manner of attackers. Don't just think they're sitting there working on Martinez. They're working on Tammy Abraham. The Marzio said they're now working on this deal as well. So I can't listen, and I really appreciate you all. With my dyslexia, sometimes a certain word, doesn't matter how many times I hear it or say it, my brain won't let me say it. I don't even know how to explain it. It's like you ever seen the film Liar Liar, where he can't lie, where he can't tell a lie? I just can't say them. My brain just goes, stop it. I gotta say it. My mouth stops working. It's like I become a momentary mute. It's legit. It's a madness. It is a madness. We're talking Martinez to Arsenal or Tottenham. A big fight between these two North London clubs. Is he going to go white? Is he going to go red? I want your thoughts and I want your feelings. Young Samuel's here first. Give me your thoughts on this transfer deal, my friend.
The deal is in our hands. Everyone's missing, especially.
Bro, your Wi-Fi. One sec, bro. Your Wi-Fi. Brother, your Wi-Fi is moving mad. Absolutely awful. Try coming back on. Try sorting out and coming back. We're going to go to Amin. Amin is an Arsenal fan. We're going to get him on now to have his say. Are you there, brother?
Yeah, I'm there. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can. What's your take on this Martinez news? Do you think it's possible? Do you think Inter will sell? And if so, can Arsenal beat Tottenham to his signature?
Okay, firstly, Inter, the selling thing with Inter, yes, they would sell him, and I've heard that, they're talking about he wants to stay. Obviously, the agents are going to say that it's just to drive prices up. So I'm pretty sure with the situation Inter Milan are in, if the right offer comes in upwards of 70 million euros, they will probably accept it. And I've read something of Martinez. He's open to stay, but if he sees that Inter Milan want to sell him, he'll probably go. Now, with the Arsenal situation, I know people are going to call me negative, but I don't care. You can say what he is more likely to join Spurs than Arsenal. But not because Arsenal don't want, because Tottenham are in a bad position. It's because Arsenal have more factors that are riding against them, such as you have to sell two strikers. You have to sell Lacazette, who is 28 or something, who is reluctant to, who doesn't want to leave because he has 1 year left or something. And his idea is he wants to, leave on a free, get a huge signing in bonus. He has no reason to leave. The power is in his hand. Secondly, no club is going to buy him with 1 year remaining left on his contract. And when he's 28, 29, going down, no one's going to buy him. So you're stuck with Lacazette. Nketiah, another example, it's always been rumors with Nketiah. And even if you sell Nketiah, there's no way you can go sign Martinez without selling Lacazette or Aubameyang. And also this club just spread so much PR. The only way Arsenal will ever sign Martinez is if we get smacked up by Chelsea and Man City. And what will happen is the club will, shit themselves. They will realize, oh no, we have to please the fans. Let's go sign a big name, and they'll probably get Martinez. Maybe not even Martinez, maybe a centre mid. But there's no hope in this Martinez deal. I'm telling you guys now, don't get your hopes up. It's all fake PR. They do this every season with a big player. Remember last season, Husamowa? This year it's going to be Martinez. Same thing. We're going to be left embarrassed once again.
Who do you think you'll end up with? Like, who do you think will come in and take that? Because you definitely need. I've seen a lot of Gooners say it's not a pivotal area. I watched your game today. You look toothless up front. You don't have any killers up there. Aubameyang looks disinterested. Who do you think Arsenal will end up with?
Terry, you're right in everything you just said. We look toothless. Not even we look so bad. We have no cutting edge. And the truth is, fans just have to realize that some of these players we have are just not good enough. And when you say who are we going to end up signing? Firstly, it depends on who we sell. And another big factor is, well, it's going to be another panic buy. I'm 100% confident who we buy next comes in, Madison, or Martinez or whatever. It all comes to a panic buy. So what's going to happen is we're going to lose against Chelsea and Man City, and then the club will, rush, and they'll probably sign someone. I have a feeling it will probably, I don't know which player it will be, but I have a feeling it will be a cam, because I think we need a cam just a bit more than we need a striker, because we have Martinelli still and we have Balogun. So I feel we have like around four strikers. I feel the club will just be like, okay, with four strikers, we'll do one game a week, but they'll probably go for a cam. And I'll agree. I think we need a cam way more than we need a striker right now.
There we go. Listen, Amin, great call. Thanks for telling us and giving us your thoughts there, mate. Top man. Thank you. Hang on a second. Oh, sorry. I misread something there. I thought something else. sorry. I digress. Top man, thanks for coming on, having your say. Really appreciate that. Not a happy Gooner. Thinks it's PR. Thinks Arsenal were doing this to, I don't know, sell season tickets and that type of business. What do you think, viewers? Like, I'm really intrigued to gain your thoughts and your feelings on this one. I really do. Spurs fans watching, can you pull this off? Or do some of you just think that, no, Inter are telling the truth now? They've got rid of Lukaku. That's it. From this point, they rebuild, they multiply, they go forward. I want to know. Harry Kane to Man City, still on a new big bid is expected soon. Thank you here to Todd Cantwell for signing up and becoming an official member of the Football Terrace. Remember, we've got all of the new emojis on their way. Some of them are already available. If you haven't seen the new emojis, I will just post them all now in the live comment section. As you can see, loads of new ones in there. So go and check them out. Get yourselves involved. Young Samuel's now back with better Wi-Fi. What are you saying, mate?
Is it better now?
Yes.
All right. Like I was saying earlier, we had a Martinez deal in our hands. The player was there, the value was there. We just had to pay the fee. And yet again, this Edu guy, Terry, we've barely done anything all summer. We could have gotten Ben White months ago. The original asking price a couple of months ago for Ben White was 50 million. They refused to pay it, tried to get a lower price, they failed. Edu, we finally get Ben White for 50 million pounds. Edu comes back to work, I think, for a couple of weeks, and now he's gone. This guy has gone back to holiday. He's going in Mallorca, which is incensed to Arsenal fans. We're meant to, Mick Arteta said, this is a serious rebuild. We've got to seriously change up this club. And as of right now, we've already brought in for one first-team player, because Lukonga and Tavares ain't going to start much games this season. As for players, I said it before, some Arsenal fans disagreed with me. Aubameyang and Lacazette are not good enough to be starting for us in the Premier League if some Arsenal fans' expectation is top four. Because listen, right now, combining both for Lacazette and Aubameyang, both for strikers this season will probably get you 15 goals. But both of them combined, not individually, combined. And this is why coming into the summer, we're saying, striker isn't a big issue. But now we've come in, we've seen the preseason, we've got another big need to fill, which is striker. And one of the best up-and-coming strikers in Europe, Lautaro Martinez, is available. Inter are willing to sell. It's not as if, he's not for sale, 100% not going like some other players. He's right there for the taking. And yet, again, Terry, Arsenal just paying around the price. And now, listen, we deserve this. Because if we lose Martinez to Tottenham, we were paying the waiting game and it failed. Time and time again. As for other players, with James Maddison, and taking too long again. We offered them, I think, Maitland-Niles, Eddie Nketiah, Joe Willock in that deal as well. And Leicester said straight up, we don't want any pay, just pay the 60 million. And we're still waiting. I don't know if it was, like, I think someone mentioned it was meant to be £100 million investment for the Cronkies. Where is it? It's nowhere to be found, Terry.
Yeah, listen, I do get where you're coming from. And at the end of the day, the reason I know what you're... Arsenal's approach this summer, I think, has been fine. I've praised it. So I'm not going to change my stance on that. What I find really interesting is that watching the negative and the positive Arsenal fans with these transfers. Now, and let me break this down. The negative Arsenal fans are saying it's PR, badly run, it's awful, it's terrible. They're really laying it on thick, which we kind of expected. But the positive ones are almost trying to deny like these deals are doable, possible. So the positive ones are saying things like the positive Arsenal fans are the ones that will listen to the comments from the agent of Martinez saying, Terry, why do you keep speaking about Martinez? The deal can't happen. Look, the agent has said it. It's like they almost want to have that excuse ready for if the deal doesn't go through. Where it will be really embarrassing is if you don't end up with Martinez but Spurs do get him, or any other club gets him, because that obviously that will prove that he wasn't staying, right? He was available. 100%. So for me, like, it just is what it is.
You know what? This is the same thing I think similar to Party last season. We tried to go in for a while, the whole summer, and we couldn't get him, and we go for Party on deadline day to try and appease the fans. I see something like this going on with one of these transfers, you know, budging out the price, saying, you know what, we won't pay this. We'll probably get spanked by Brentford, Chelsea, or City in the first 3 games. My expectations, the way we're going now, probably in the first 3 games, we'll end up with 1 point. And the fans will be mad, everyone will be mad, and the club will panic and buy a player, someone like a Madison, for at least 60 mil. They'll finally pay the price, and well, it still won't be enough, because buying even Lautaro Martinez, if you don't get Madison, only buy Lautaro Martinez, that's not enough. If you,
No, I do get where you're coming from, mate. It's going to be so intriguing to see what happens. Young Samuel, thank you for coming on, mate, and having your say. Viewers, make sure you've smashed the like button right now. Give it a smash. Subscribe. Let's get this past at least 500 likes. That would be amazing. Should be able to do that easy. 1,600 of you have voted in the poll, so we should easily be able to get the likes to that same level. Let's get that done right now. Make sure you subscribe to the Terrace. Igal's coming on next with me to give me his thoughts and feelings on Tottenham versus Arsenal. One of the best young attackers in the world. Give me your thoughts, Igal.
Yo, what's going on, Terry? I'm kicking it, man. Tottenham versus Arsenal. Today's game is the second thought. We're not even going to talk about that. It's preseason. Performance terrible. Once again, Arsenal being toothless. But hey, it's not about being always positive, Terry. When you're talking about being positive, being negative, there has to be a level of balance. And as much as people want to laugh at me, the reason why I'm balanced is because when everyone's saying utter nonsense about Arsenal being a small club or being this garbage club, you cannot just say stuff like that. We still have the financial clout to get a Martinez deal done if we wanted to. It doesn't seem like Arsenal are so ready to press ahead with one deal, Terry. It seems like what you were saying all season, where there's so many things going on at the same time, where the Madison thing is still going on. We're still waiting for it. Out of nowhere, it seems like there's another thing going on. And it's almost like we're in a club. We're walking down and girls are turning our heads left, right, center. We don't know which one to go to. That's what the situation looks like at Arsenal right now. And that's what I think that best analogy I could give. So, yeah. What do you think about that?
Look, I hear you. And look, my view is this. Balance is always right in these circumstances. I think you've done very good business. You just need to do more business. That's the balance. The ones who are making me laugh, the Arsenal fans are trying to. I've had one of them already comment on my tweet going, "He isn't for sale. It's been confirmed." The man is for sale. In reality, every player in the world is for sale at the right price. I mean, it almost becomes a bit of like an obvious statement, really. But you need to land someone. If he's for sale, though, and both you and Tottenham offer the money. Now, the rumours are a deal of around £60 million was agreed with Tottenham, but now it appears like Inter are trying to drive that price up. That's another part of the story which is being ignored. People keep saying he's not for sale. It's like, well, then why are they trying to drive the price up then? Like, because they're desperate for money, right? They want that extra, 15, 20 million pound if they can get it. But if he is available and you and Spurs both put in acceptable bids, who do you believe he would pick, you or Tottenham?
Arsenal, because Arsenal would pay him more money. Tottenham have a wage structure that would not allow them to overpay on individuals that are coming into the club. Let's be real. How much net does Harry Kane or Son currently make? Because I know weekly they're the only players that are close or above 200K a week. Am I wrong? So when it,
I don't know. I'll have to check, but yeah.
Okay, if you could check that for me, because I know in order for him to come to Arsenal, we were looking at giving him around what 6.4 million or something like that euros a year. I'm not exactly sure how much that breaks out to weekly, but when it comes to Arsenal, we offer better wages. We offer players more wages, and if he's coming for the money, he wouldn't be going to Tottenham. Financially, we'd offer him more wages. If he's coming to and he sees a better project at Tottenham, I don't know what project you're seeing at Tottenham with Harry Kane about to leave. They don't have a proper center back pairing at the moment. They look like they picked their 16th choice manager or 13th choice manager. Yes, the only thing that would make sense is if the Juventus manager was already looking to get Lautaro Martinez and he has a good relationship with Lautaro Martinez because he's now the new board director or director of football at Spurs, the gentleman who came to Spurs. That's the only reason why I feel like they might have an inside track on the situation with the relationship with the guy who used to work at Juventus, now working at Spurs. That would be the only way they would get this deal over Arsenal.
Yeah, you are right about the salary. So currently, this is a circular figure. The base salary at Tottenham for its first team squad is 85 million a year, where Arsenal's is 115 million. So yeah, you pay considerably more a year to your players than Tottenham do. But I think it's going to be such an interesting choice. I think it could almost be like a watershed moment for some Arsenal fans, because I can't remember in my life ever thinking Tottenham could pip you to a player, as in you've both gone in for him, you've both had bids accepted. So yeah, it'd be really intriguing to see what happens there.
Can I notify the Spurs fans and rivals fans? They did not buy this center back from Italy. They did not buy him. This is a loan deal. This is not a purchased agreed deal. They do have the right to buy him at the end if the loan deal is successful. But the media have spun this Romero deal as if they've purchased him. I've gone onto the Atlanta website and I've seen it for myself. This is not go look at the deal, guys. Stop talking about stuff that you don't actually know all the details. Terry, am I wrong? This is not an outright purchase.
I mean, look, I haven't read too much about it. But is it, you say it's a loan?
Yeah, it's a loan. This is not a deal where they've bought the player straight up cash.
That makes it, that makes it better though. That's a brilliant deal. That's an even better deal then, isn't it?
It's a good deal for Tottenham because
it's great business because it means they've got him if they want him.
Yeah, but look at it this way.
They get like a try before you buy. That's brilliant.
Okay, Terry, spin it whichever way you want to do it. Arsenal.
No, am I spinning it?
No, because if this was Arsenal, and we did the same deal, and imagine, Terry, we loaned Ben White to Arsenal for a year with the obligation to buy or option to buy at the
I
end
would
of
say
it.
brilliant.
Now you would say brilliant, but you know what the media spin would be? Oh my God, Arsenal are loaning another player. Arsenal are getting another player from Brighton. They didn't even get Brighton's best center back. Everything that we hear about Ben White for 50 million would now turn into you're loaning Ben White. Look at you. You become loan FC. The jokes would just roll off the tongue. Where with Tottenham, it's been swept under the rug. That's the point that I'm trying to make to everybody.
I mean, I didn't even know about it until you just said it, because I missed it. However, I think it's fantastic. I think it's they did this, but they've done this before. They did this with Fernandez, the young lad. I think it was Fernandez. They loaned him. I mean, they had a non-obligation to buy clause for like 60 million if he was worth it. I think it's absolutely fantastic. We're going to take some more calls in a minute. Maria here says it's clever to loan him, then buy him to save money now. Absolutely. It gives you a year before you have to spend any money. Okay, it's a loan with an option to buy it. So what's his point? I think he was trying to say, Jace. I mean, I don't really know what Gal's point was. What was your point?
My point is everyone keeps talking about why did he join Tottenham? Why did Tottenham get this amazing center back? This is that. They haven't actually purchased a center back. So as much as they're talking about him as if he is this great player and everything and he's theirs, yeah, I hear that. But you haven't even bought him. He's not yours. He's technically still Atlanta's player. That's my point.
Yeah, I know. But he's brilliant. Like he's a brilliant player, and it's a brilliant capture. You know it is.
And who's his center back partner?
I don't know. Who do you think he's going to play with?
Eric Dyer, or David Sanchez, or Joe Rodon. Let's be real. This is
Rodon's good. Rodon's a good player.
Okay, how do we know that?
But how do I know that?
Yeah,
I've seen him play football.
No, but where has he played in the Premier League consistently?
No, but I think you might get more game time this year. Plus, Spurs are looking at another centre back. Davinson Sanchez is still likely to be sold. I do believe they are looking at another centre back. And listen, and Christian Romero, he is mate. Honestly, he's amazing. He's one of the best pieces of business this summer. My brother here, Henry White TV, in the house. How's it going, bro? He says here, get a fan on who actually speaks facts. You know what, Henry? You're probably busy. But if you're not, I'm dropping. I know this guy. I've dropped you the link. I've dropped you the link if you want to come on and have your say, my friend.
Okay, let me just say this. These guys are pissing me off right now, Terry. What facts? First of all, Arsenal is a bigger club than Leicester, Tottenham, all these other clubs that you guys constantly say are currently better situations than us. That is true. They are currently in a better situation than us. But what you also have to look at is Liverpool were also in a worse situation than Arsenal, and tides flipped quickly. These things, teams are not always bad forever. As long as our owners are in charge, we might not push on to get to a title, but we could easily get back into the top four and everything else if we just ran our club the right way and just got in the proper players in the proper positions. That's the problem that we have. Everyone just bantering, throwing nonsense every single day. It's honestly starting to piss me off because it's like I try to come here, try to have a balanced conversation because, Terry, I'm generally a balanced person. But every single time I'm on here, I feel like I'm pushed towards near insanity every time, because it's like the chat just always are saying you're deluded, but then people who are saying, you know what, you're overly positive. How am I overly positive when I'm in a room with overly positive people? I'm the one telling them about the negative situations that are going on at the club.
Viewers, what do you make? A lot of people saying you're rattled, bruv. They're saying you're rattled.
I'm not going to respond to that because I'm not rattled. I'm just explaining the situation.
I do hear you. We're going to bring on some more callers to join me in the gal now. Pav is coming on first to have his say. What's on your mind, Pav?
Boy, I didn't think this whole Martinez thing was going to come to anything. I just thought it was rumours. But it does look like Tottenham and Arsenal want him. And you said, was it yesterday, that there's a a big account outlet saying that in Milan, on the verge of bankruptcy or something, where their owners are, and every single player is up for sale. Yeah, I mean, ideally, I don't really like Tottenham. I'm a United fan. I just don't like Tottenham because of the fact people like to regard them as a top club when they're not a top club. They are not a top club. I understand a gal want to throw shade, but the problem is, Agal, people say that you don't speak facts. It's because you Arsenal fans have the biggest mouths. We know you're a bigger club than Tottenham. You, man, just like to repeat yourself all the time about it. That's why people like taking the piss out of Arsenal fans. That's why we like banter you. But I get your point, Agal. Ideally, I think Martinez would suit Arsenal better. He would make his own brand bigger. I don't think he's going to go anywhere with Tottenham. Look at the projects that Tottenham sell since Pochettino come into fruition. They've done nothing with their teams. You've had runs here and there. You got to a final. You've done nothing with your projects. At least Arsenal can win a cup here and there every few years. And I believe they have a better team at the moment than Tottenham. A lot of them Tottenham players are bang average. Some of them are past it. Harry Kane's future is still undecided. Nuno keeps coming out saying he's going to be here. We know he's not going to be there. Man City will push for a bid. They'll push for a big bid probably this week, as soon as the season starts, and you'll probably see Harry Kane move at some point. I can understand why they're going to bid for Martinez because they need to play someone, and Martinez would be...
Bro, can I ask you a question quickly? Sorry to cut you off.
Yeah,
just mute yourself because it's kind of loud. First thing I need to say, when you say stuff like, oh, people go Arsenal fans or talk about Arsenal fans, people get monetary value from slandering Arsenal. There's actual accounts dedicated to just slandering Arsenal, and they have hundreds of thousands of followers. So at the end of the day, we know what it is. If you're the team that's in the rut during the social media era, you become the butt of every joke. But the facts of the reality is this banter club that everybody talks about has a better has up and coming center back pairing, has one of the best left left backs in the league. It needs to sort out the right back situation, needs to sort out a lot of areas in our team, and we understand that. But we are always and will always be a bigger club than Tottenham. The one thing that Tottenham have in their favor right now, they're going to have the money once they sell Harry Kane. And even if they do sell Harry Kane, I think Tottenham are in a much worse situation than us, because they have a manager that is known as the Portuguese Tony Pulis, and then not Tony Pulis. Why? That's Arsenal. I have the Pulis, but they're known as the Sean Dyche. They're known as the Portuguese Sean Dyche. We have the Spanish Tony Pulis. They have Harry Kane, who's about to leave. Son is going to be their only goal scorer. They have a center back pairing of Joe Rodon and this guy from Italy. We don't know how good he's going to be in the Premier League because he's never played a game in the Premier League. And their midfield is our midfield is poor, but their midfield has a lot of poor, inexperienced players also. So let's not act like this team is so great. And also, Dele Alli and Lo Celso still play football for them. Dele Alli can't play football anymore. He's literally doing UFC moves on the pitch.
Listen, I hear what you're saying there, Gal. Pav, thank you very much, mate, for coming on and having your say. Really appreciate it, brother. Top man. Thank you very much. Viewers, we are talking about the Lautaro Martinez situation. Like I've said for days now, I do not buy for one single second any of these stories that it isn't doable. The fact that, like, Alistair Gold is speaking about it so openly. You know, I find with the tier one journalists who are dedicated to one club, they seem to protect the club's honor a lot. They won't write a story unless they feel there's some real credibility about it. And, you know, he does mention in his article that it's a hard job to get done, but it just reads like it's doable. And I just don't think Spurs and their journalists would be talking about this now if it was really true that it was unattainable. It just wouldn't make any sense at any level. On top of that, I did speak about this article yesterday. It's well worth reading this thread and then going to, I can't pronounce the name properly of the publication. I'm really, really sorry, ladies and gentlemen. But this is from Nima. Nima here used to work for Damasio and a number of other publications, fairly credible, and so I'm told. But as you can see here, days after winning the league, the board members were told the plan is to sell all players whom an offer arrives for. This is why Antonio Conte resigned. It then goes on to talk about there were differences around all other bits and pieces. It's really worth a good thread reading and delving into and doing a bit of research into when it comes to why it's still really. What's really strange to me is that none of the big journalists are talking about that article. It's like that's just been ignored. The fact that it hasn't blown the internet up is shocking to me. I'm joined now by Henry. Long time no speak, mate. How are you?
Yeah, not too bad. Obviously, at the stadium today, watched the game. Nice little result. It's good to be back on. Arsenal fans in here absolutely ripping me a new one in the chat. But, you know, we beat Pandemic Pep. So it is what it is. People were saying about, oh, Nuno, Jose 2.0. Your manager looks like something out of Thunderbirds, mate. Like, it's a joke. I disagree. I think personally, with our new director of football, Fabio Paratisi is how it's pronounced, we're in a better position. They've got a lot of both. Let's be completely real. Both teams have a lot of deadwood, and both teams need massive overhauls. However, Lacazette going into his last year of his contract, the Gambinese of Bonlahor couldn't score in a brothel. Harry Kane will be staying because Daniel Levy will block every single move he can. We've just signed the number 2 best up-and-coming centre-back behind Sven Botman on a loan, which is actually smarter business for Tottenham because when we get fans back in and the stadium gets revenue, we can pay for it when we have the money. Now we can put 50 million into Vlahovic, however you want to pronounce it, or Leandro Lautaro Martinez. You know, there's so many players out there that both teams need. The difference is both teams can't offer them Europa League football, Champions League football, what we have been doing the last 10 years. But seriously, we are in, like, watching today, both teams are so, I know it's a friendly and it doesn't really mean anything, but we were so poor. I mean, Harry Winks has got the turning circle with a fishbowl. You know, at times, Lacazette gets into so many areas and he's like, he's just got no ideas. If that was the Lacazette of 2 years ago, Arsenal, we would have lost today. $1,000,000%. $1,000,000%. But, you know, it is what it is.
I watched it and it is so hard. I mean, I've watched my team in their preseason games. We looked really good in patches yesterday against Everton. But I've seen us play like teams nowhere near Everton standard, and we've looked like dog breath. But it's going to be an interesting time. And I think, so how do you pronounce, is it Paratiti?
Everyone keeps saying Paratici, but I heard from an Italian journalist who ripped me a new one. It's Paratisi. That's how it's pronounced.
TC.
Yeah.
Okay,
I'm the same as you. I'm dyslexic. I can't even pronounce. On the streams, I get ripped on a daily basis from people saying, "Oh, you're pronouncing it wrong." So yeah, but that's one I can pronounce, Paratisi.
Terry, can I say some stuff? First of all, Tottenham are on the decline, bro. You don't realize it. You don't realize it, but you think you guys are actually going anywhere. Harry Kane leaves. This is the beginning of the decline. You cannot replace a player like Harry Kane. As much as I make fun of him not getting to the top of the top, once he leaves Tottenham, he will solidify the prophecy. Once he leaves this season, he will solidify the prophecy after he wins a couple league titles. And if he does win a Champions League with Man City or does a quadruple, he will then be solidified as a Premier League great. Right now, all he is a guy who scored a lot of goals for Tottenham and the closest thing that you guys have to a club legend. Now, first thing, your center back situation is dire. You went
still
from
better
having,
than yours.
No, it's not. Nowhere near.
Joe Rodon is a better centre back than anyone.
Nowhere near. Let me finish.
Christ,
Man. I was respectfully waiting until you're done.
Go on, I'll let you finish.
So I could bear you. First things first. You don't have a center back pairing nowhere near our center back pairing. Your center back pairing is probably the worst out of all 6 top teams in the Premier League out of all of them. No one would take Joe Rodon and Romero over any of the other center back pairings. We have Ben White and Gabriel, who's better than all your center back pairings combined. Also, since you talk about left backs, Reguilon, this is the worst decline, the most overhyped Real Madrid player to come into the Premier League in a long time. He came in, he's utter garbage. I'm sorry. He's not that good. You guys gassed him. You thought you were going to win the league last year. Your midfield is poor. You don't have a decent midfield. We have a poor midfield. Somehow, you guys have even worse of a midfield because you spent all this money in players that you can't even win anything for you guys. Also, you're talking about your attack. Let's talk about your attack. Steven Bergwijn can't do nothing. Lucas Moura, he's old and he still can't do nothing for a reason. Son, he's a baller, absolute baller. I wish I had him at Arsenal. He's one of those guys you need to hold on to because he's the future. Kane, when Kane leaves, you will not be able to replace him because we had a similar situation. Van Persie, we bought 2 players. We still couldn't replace him. Thierry Henry, we somehow replaced him in the short term, but it still was not to the level. Harry Kane gets sold. You're going to buy 2 players. They're not going to reach the levels of Harry Kane. Harry Kane is a striker who drops deep and plays as a false 9. Lautaro Martinez can do that, but Harry Kane is a lot more physical. So then you buy a physical striker. Now you have 2 players playing the same position in a team that will not work. Also, you have a manager. You're talking about managers. I have a manager a lot of people criticize and make fun of. But at the same time, you went for so many different managers. You ended up getting your 16th manager at near the end of the window, and now you're just starting to get deals done. You're a poorly run club overall now. And since we are talking about Arsenal, we are a worse run club than you guys, but we still have the financial clout to get ourselves out of that situation. Tottenham will never spend the type of funds that Arsenal spend to get themselves out of situations. You have to be smart. You need the right people in charge. And if you guys start being a poor run club, you'll go back to irrelevance. I'm sorry. And this is why I think Tottenham are in a worse situation.
First of all, your record signing is 72 million. Ours is 62 million. So you say about we wouldn't spend the money. We spent 62 million on Ndombele and 55 on Gio Lo Celso in the same season, right? Second of all, you only conceded 6 less goals than us, but we scored, what, 10 more than you? 11 more than you? And you say about we're going into, you're in a worse position than us. You finished 8th last year. This is the mighty Arsenal. You're not even in the Conference League. Like,
where did you finish? Where did you finish?
7th.
What's the difference? 1 point? Same position, bro.
We got an extra 45 million in ad revenue through the Conference League.
We're
still playing European competition. And you talk about this run club. Since Aubameyang's new contract, what's he done? He went from, and I'm going to be completely honest, I rate Aubameyang and I get a lot of stick for it. I think he was an unbelievable forward. Since you pinned him down at 31 years of age to 375 grand, the guy is now Gabriel Bonlavor. He's just pace. Pepe, is a B-Tech Jovino, mate. Last season, the amount of times he got in front of goal. Okay, this season, I'm not gonna lie, I think he'll do bits. I saw him today, and he had Oliver Skip on strings at times. Like if we're talking about the clubs, we're both on a downfall, and we're both absolutely horrendous compared to 3-4 years ago. We were in the Champions League final, and a few years ago, you know, my whole life going up through school, you still are a bigger football club. Let's be completely honest.
Yeah.
But I don't think going forward you will be a better football club. You'll be bigger, obviously.
Let me tell you
Premier
why.
League.
Let me interject there, Egal, because I don't want us to go too much around in circles. Great stuff from both of you there. Absolutely brilliant. Backing your clubs. Love that. I love fans that actually back their club. If you both get acceptable bids in for Martinez, Egal's already told us he thinks Martinez would choose Arsenal. What do you think, Henry? Do you think you could pip Arsenal to the post and land him if you both get bids accepted with Inter Milan?
It's difficult. It's very difficult. Arsenal are going to pay more wages, 100%. If we offer 250 grand a week, they're going to offer 350 grand a week. The only difference we have got is Fabio Paratici has a network in Italy. You know, we're looking at bidding for Damsgaard. We've just signed Romero, who at the moment is top 10 centre halves in the world. He absolutely was insane in the Copa America, and he's probably going to get overhyped. He'll do a couple of games here or there, and then he'll get slandered. But with his network, if he can convince Daniel Levy, you know, this is what we've got. I'll be honest, before we bought in Paratici, I said we'd finish 12th. I'm not going to lie to you. Since then, we've got rid of Joe Hart, Alderweireld, Lamela, Aurier, and Sissoko are both going to go. So you're looking at a rebuild. If he can go, right, you know, this is the module we're looking at. We've brought in Nuno, who's, you know, got a lot of stick. He's still got Wolves to a quarter-final of the Europa League. Before he was at Wolves, they were completely irrelevant. He got them into the Premier League, did this and that. But going back to your question, personally, I don't think he'll leave Inter Milan. I know they're very close to liquidation, this and that, but to get rid of Lukaku and Martinez and just bring in Dzeko is like you're the champions. Do you know what I mean? You just teared it up. But yeah, I reckon someone like Juventus will go in for him. You know, Ronaldo getting older, they'll come around. You know, there's still 3 weeks left of the window. It'll be interesting, but with the option we didn't buy Romero for leaves up funds. So we've loaned him with a guaranteed obligation to buy, leaves that 50 odd million sitting there. You know, we've got to make a statement signing to keep Harry Kane. If we don't, he's going to be looking at us going, right, what's going on? If we bring in Martinez and we've got Romero and Kane can go, right, this and that, because he hasn't actually come out and openly said he wants to leave. This is the thing. This is what Sky Sports and the media are brilliant at. He hasn't someone show me a comment of where he said, I want to leave. Because his agent, Charlie Kane, who works for the Sun, is just stirring the pot continuously. So, yeah, I don't think either club will get him.
It's one of those things for me. Great points being made there, and you know, there's still the chance, as you say, that he stays at Inter Milan. I just interesting what Alistair Gold said today about, you know, other areas have been the priority for Tottenham, but when I think his actual words, but when an opportunity like this presents itself, clubs can't say no. So that in itself just sort of says to me, where does that comment come from? Like, there has to be something tangible within it for Tottenham to suddenly drop their priorities and go, we can't let the parade go by. And not just them, Arsenal and other teams. It's going to be interesting. I'm really excited to see what happens in that space. Viewers, who won the debate? Type Gal or type Henry? Let me know. I want to know
it's not over. Let me say one thing quickly.
It's not over. Gal's back
let me just say one thing.
Again.
First of all, it's not about if Harry Kane wants to leave. There's a reason why he's not showing up to training. He wants to try to push the deal through. So that's one sign. Now, when I look at Arsenal and I look at Tottenham, I say to myself, who's better set up for the future? You look at Arsenal, you see Gabriel, Kieran Tierney, Martinelli, Saka, Smith Rowe. You see all the young talent that we have coming up, in addition to Pepe being of a good age, in addition to some of our midfielders being of a good age. We have our strikers and Willian, who are older, but majority of the team is young. When you look at Tottenham, you are a couple years behind in the rebuild, and you could catch up if you buy a couple of good players. But my whole point is, financially, you guys don't have as much clout to replace the quality of players that you've lost in Wijnaldum. Not Wijnaldum. Why did I say Wijnaldum? In Toby Alderweireld, in Vertonghen, in Moussa Dembele, which you still haven't replaced, which was absolute baller. Some of these players that are just from that era that you're not going to be able to replace easily. You still have a right back situation, just like we do. And my whole thing is I'm looking at the two teams and I'm saying who has a brighter future. The team that has the financial clout, that has the youngsters already under their ranks and has the young center back pairing for the future. The young stars in Saka and Smith Rowe already there, or the team that still has Harry Kane and Son, but not much around it. That's my point. I'm not even trying to throw banter at you, bro. It's just I look at Arsenal as a club that can go back to its echelon, that has the young core, and I look at Tottenham as a team that has reached their heights but are on the decline.
You know what I'm going to say though? One thing I think is getting dismissed. I'm a huge fan of Nuno, and what's really weird is 12 months ago, for a 3-year period, everybody wanted him, either now or at some point in the future. Wolves had one bad year, and when you say bad, it's still one of the. If you actually look at Wolves in the last 25 years, last season was still one of their best seasons they've had in 25 years. It's about being put in perspective on it. Nuno, and I am biased because I've met him on a number of occasions in my previous job. He's a lovely guy. He's a great guy, but he's a very good manager. He is a much better man. The one thing that's being discounted here is he is a much better manager than Mikel Arteta. He truly is. He's honestly, he's 2 times, 3 times, 4 times better a manager, more experienced than Arteta. So I think he has the ability. I actually think I've said it before about the Kane situation. I think you should sell Kane. I actually think take one if you can get 130, 140. I know it's a risk, but I think if you actually invest that in the right types of players, you might be able to create a better team. You lose one of the best players in the world, the best number 9 in my opinion in the world, but you might create a better team with a bit more balance, with a bit more strength throughout its core, if it's done right, you know. So it's going to be an intriguing one. I mean, would you rather keep him or would you rather cash in and reinvest, Henry?
If we do sell him and we bring in, say, Martinez, is Martinez going to get a 13 assist and a 23 goal season in a mediocre Spurs team? We'd need three strikers easily. The difference is that people don't seem to understand is, I'm going to be completely biased. I think Harry Kane is the best striker in the world. I think Lewandowski is very, very good, but could he get them numbers in a Spurs team? Yeah, when you're with Bayern Munich and you've got the likes of Goretzka, Kimmich, Müller, you know, absolute ballers all over the field putting the ball into you. But this man, without Kane today, every single thing went through Son. And if Son gets an injury, we're in the exact same position. Personally, I'm going to get a lot of stick for this. I would cash in. If you said to me, Man City will give you 130 million and Laporte, which was on the table, or 140 million cash, I'd go straight in. I would have bought Danny Ings. Obviously, in hindsight, it's a wonderful thing. Now he's at Villa. He's going to get you 20 goals a season. Then you bring in Vlahovic, or you bring in the young lad from Brentford. I can't remember his name. Is Ivan Toney. There's so many forwards out there up and coming that you could bring. Even someone like Abraham. Like Abraham, yeah, he gets a lot of stick and he could come from Chelsea. But he's Premier League proven and he's going to get you goals. And he's available for what, 30 million? It's very difficult because the fact if we do sell him, the fan base, there'll be riots, there'll be protests, there'll be boycotting games. And I don't think him going. I think even if Man City went, there's 120 million, I don't see it getting approved. I think it will get rejected. And if next season he's only got 2 years on his contract, what's he going to be worth then? 80 to 100, an absolute max. And then they'll go, right, we'll snap him up. And age isn't on his side. If Lukaku's 130, what's Kane? This is my point. Yeah. No, he's got to be 150 mil.
No, I do get you. I think it's going to be the next 7 days are going to be interesting. That's what I've been told. So I'm just excited about it. To be honest with you, like, because it doesn't involve my team, I'm just intrigued. I mean, I actually want him to go to City, which is a weird thing for a Man United fan to say, because I want there to be so much pressure on City to win that. Because, if they have him and Grealish with the squad and manager they've got and they don't win the league and they don't end up winning a Champions League, it's crazy to think after everything they've achieved, like they could go on like a 2-season run now and be looked at as failures because they haven't actually achieved like the pinnacle of club football, which is winning the European Cup. If anybody tips them to the title next year, hugely embarrassing for the amount of money they're looking to invest, but it's going to be intriguing. We're going to bring Fixer onto the call with us now. Fixer, welcome back to the terrace, mate. What do you want to say, buddy? You're on mute, by the way.
My bad. Can you hear me now?
I can.
Yeah. I just wanted to talk about the Messi thing to PSG, and I just wanted to say I don't think people should be that worked up about it. I hear a lot of people, talking scared, saying they're gonna win the Champions League and all that shit. I think Messi's on his last legs, anyways. I think this is the opportunity for us to actually see how good he really is. He's been in Barcelona all his life, and this time he's gonna be exposed. Is what I'm saying, basically.
It's going to be exposed. Would you going to be exposed?
Not exposed as like as being shit, because he's not. But what I'm saying, like, he's not. We're gonna see the chinks in his armor now. Is what I'm saying, and it's gonna be nice to see that. That's what I'm saying.
Well, okay, I need to unpack this a little bit. When you say exposed or chinks in his armor,
yeah,
like what? What are those? What are those weaknesses that none of us have seen for 15 years?
That's what I'm saying. We're gonna find out. He's gonna be outside his comfort zone.
Yeah, but what do you think? But what do you think they are? Because you must think there's something to expose, right? So what are we going to see? What is going to be exposed to the world?
Well, I don't think there's anything.
You don't know, do you? You don't know, do you?
What I think? No. What I'm saying is, like, see, okay, look at Cristiano Ronaldo, right? When he went to what's the club he went to after Real Madrid? I think it was Juve, and everybody was like, oh, what was going to happen now? He's going to, and then he maintained his level. So I'm just trying to say we have to see if Messi can do that as well, because this is the first time he's going to be playing outside Spain, and he's going to do it. Don't get me wrong, he's going to do it well in the League One, but in the Champions League, when he comes to meet other top quality players, I'd like to see if he can do that same, recreate that same sort of majestic play he does, for a different club. I would love to see that, but I think we're going to be quite surprised. It's not gonna go the way we all think it's gonna go. That's one thing.
Gal, I mean, do you think Messi's going to be exposed this year?
I think it's going to be the opposite. I think the French league is a lot easier for teams like PSG to dominate, and he's going to get so many chances that we're going to just see him kill it. Like, remember when Ibrahimovic was there? We always used to say, "Oh, Ibrahimovic is only killing it because he's in France." But you know what? This is Messi. If you have guys like Di Maria killing it, if you have Nicolas Pepe scoring 16 goals in France, believe me, Messi's gonna get double that easy.
Yeah, I mean, the only person that I feel is under pressure next season is Poch. He's the only man in this circumstance who's under pressure, because we already know there's the bottler tag connected to him, Henry. Do you think? I mean, if the unthinkable happened, then Lille retain their title and he doesn't win the Champions League, do you think Poch will ever be able to live that down?
Just quickly talking about Lionel Messi. We're talking about the greatest footballer to ever kick a football. Like, people would say Ronaldo, yeah, fair enough, he did it in the Premier League. This man scored 97 goals in a calendar year. Can we just think for a second and take that in? And he's going into a league which has one football team. And he's playing alongside Neymar, who won the Champions League and the treble with in 2015 for Barcelona, and Mbappe. And you've got Sergio Ramos and the anchor at the back with the best goalkeeper in the world, Donnarumma. It's going to be disgusting. If PSG lose a game, then Poch is fouled. They should do an Arsenal and go invincible. But Pochettino he's under a lot of pressure, because when he was at Spurs, he dealt with he brought up a lot of the youngsters, the likes of Dane Scarlett when he was like 13, 14. Pochettino, I think it was an under 16s game he went to, and he said, no, like, this kid's going to be, like, he's going to be a star. And now Dane Scarlett, at 17 years old, he's doing absolute bits. So he has a lot of pressure dealing with superstars. Yes, he's going to have a good relationship with Messi. The Argentine connection is going to be there. But you've got Messi, Mbappe, and Neymar that are all going to try and fight to be the dominant man. I think if they don't win the Champions League, then Poch should get sacked. That's my personal opinion. I think if Man City do get Harry Kane, it's going to be City, Chelsea, and PSG are going to be the standouts. Let's be honest. Chelsea have wanted a number 9. They've got Lukaku, and Poch has got Messi, Mbappe, and Neymar. Like, they should walk it. The French league is basically over. Like, they're way it's ridiculous. You're playing against part-time farmers each week, and now they're going up in the Champions League. Poch's got to be going, right, this is the time where I can cement my legacy, and you can be the second team in France to win the Champions League. I think it was Marseille in '93. We can go and absolutely dominate for years. Messi signs a 2-year contract. He's still going to be fit as a fiddle when he's 35, 36 because he looked after himself. And then after that, you look at, they've got enough money. It wouldn't surprise me if they go for a massive bid in a couple of years for Haaland or someone else.
No, mate, I hear you. Yeah. No, I hear you on that. I feel, I mean, the Messi thing, yeah, is the second greatest footballer in the history of football behind Ronaldo. But to say he's going to be exposed, like, that's the maddest thing for me. Like, I think I prefer Cristiano Ronaldo, but I still recognize how good he is. Like, Messi would do it anywhere. You could put Messi in Leyton Orient's team, surrounded by bang average players in the Premier League, like League 2 players in the Premier League with Messi. He's still scoring over 20 goals in a season. He legitimately is that good. Yeah, on Poch, he's under hella pressure. Like, he could win everything domestically and still get sacked next season. That's how much pressure he's under, which is crazy. But there we go. Look, everyone that's tuned in, a massive thank you to each and every single one of you. We're back tonight around 9:30. Transfer news to bring you, of course, but we're gonna have a bit of a debate tonight. I've got to find the people that want to get involved. Grealish versus Jadon Sancho. Who is going to have the better season and why is the debate tonight? So make sure you're tuning in from around 9:30 on the Football Terrace. Please subscribe. Take care. Goodbye. God bless everyone who's come on and joined us today. Thank you. And we'll speak to you